For some reason, week 6 continued one more week, allowing me to take the final Incarnon Stalker weapon, being the Despair. Hey, what's up y'all, it's the boy Tyron. In this video, I'll be covering the Incarnon Despair. I have 3 builds out for you. I got one that's really good at killing Grineer, one that's really good for Corpus, and one that you can use anywhere if you don't feel like swapping your builds. With all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and look at how this weapon works before anything. Now, if we take a look at how this weapon's performing, you'll see that you can charge this Incarnon form extremely quickly. You're able to charge it fully in one shot once you have your galvanized stacks at max. Now, that being said, since you charge it so quickly, you also lose all the ammo in the Incarnon form extremely quick. I'm talking about 3 to 4 shots. But the way I believe you're supposed to be using this weapon is you treat it like just your normal throw-in weapon, and every now and then you get an opportunity of getting extremely large ad clear. So you just quickly pop your Incarnon form, get rid of all the shots as quick as you can, and then you go back to just using a normal kunai. In the background, you'll see me using it against Steel Path Grineer, which are very heavily armored, but with the right build, you can get through anything. So let's go ahead and look at the evolutions before I show you the builds. Look at our evolutions. Evolution 1 is what unlocks our Incarnon form like every other weapon. Evolution 2, we'll be taking Stalkers and Data 1 because it gives 10 more base damage than Fatal Affliction. 2, it's a very good perk when used with Hate and Dread, and it gives multi-shot. Fatal Affliction, direct damage, will not work with the explosions that this weapon has. Now for Evolution 3, we'll be taking Swift Deliverance. You can take whatever you want, these are all comfort perks. Rapid Reinforcement is also pretty good to help you swap into Incarnon form. For Evolution 4, I'm taking a split between crit chance and status chance. Too much crit is useless without the status chance, too much status is useless without the crit. Now, the reason our Incarnon form we only get to throw 4 or 5 shots is because of that second evolution that you see we take. When used with Hate and Dread, the multi-shot will take ammo from our reserves, allowing us to really only throw like 3 or 4 times. But we have a lot of multi-shot. We're throwing like 5 projectiles, able to clear out entire groups of enemies. Yes, it's only 5 shots, but we build our Incarnon form so quickly that it doesn't really matter. Now, when you're versing Grineer, Corrupted, Infested, basically anything that isn't Corpus, I would use this build right here. Swap out your Bane mod to, work with whatever you're dealing with. But other than that, it's a really standard build. When you have Target Cracker and Gambit for crit chance, crit damage, it's going to be a Corrosive Heat build, right? We're not going to go Viral Heat because our pet will be doing Viral for us if you're using a Panzer. So we have Primed Heater Charge, Scorch to raise our heat to its highest limits it can possibly go. And then we have Jolt and Pistol Pestilence for the Corrosive. Preferably an unranked Pistol Pestilence and Jolt wouldn't be that bad because it'll lower your corrosive rating, meaning you have a higher chance to get heat, lower chance to get corrosive. And then for our Gun Arcane, we're going to be using Deadhead because this build was able to get headshots very easily, allowing us to have a great uptime on our base damage, which will be only coming from Deadhead. Now, the reason that we have to use a build like this is because this weapon's damage type is Puncture Primary, which we cannot use to kill enemies effectively. Really, the only one that we can use is Slash. Now, that being said, most weapons that are not Slash primary or have forced impacts will always look like this. You'll always be Corrosive Heat. That's enough talk about Grineer. Let's go ahead and look at the build for Corpus. And here's our build for Corpus. The only thing that's really changed is our Bane mod to obviously Corpus, and we are now going to go a Radiation Toxin build. Now, the reason we have to go Radiation is because this weapon has base heat on it, right? We need to get that heat out the way by mixing it with something. So I'm just going to go ahead and put Radiation because Radiation has a damage bonus against machinery. So why not? And then we just go full Toxin to completely bypass the Corpus's strongest point, which is their shields, allowing us to one-shot them for a very long time. And especially with a Bane mod that'll double dip the Toxin, same way heat gets double dipped, and enemies just die for a very long time. Now I have one more build for you, and this is a build where if you don't just feel like swapping on your faction, or you're just running low tier stuff that you could always be able to kill, you can just use this build, and it would be this one right here. And here's the build. Now the only difference from this build from the other ones are we're removing the Bane mod. Since this build is supposed to be something you can just slap on and use anywhere you're going, you don't want to worry about what faction you're versing, we put in Lethal Torrent. Now this Lethal Torrent will give this weapon some needed fire rate and just more multi-shot. We don't want to put in Horn to Strike because we don't want any more base damage in our Arcane's giving. We'll start having some crazy diminishing returns. And we're also just going to play Corrosive Heat because Corrosive Heat will kill Grineer extremely easily and will also destroy Corpus very easily as well. And yeah, those are the 3 best builds that you could be put on your Incarnon Despair. Now, I will say that these are some very good weapons, bro. For throwing weapons that I don't use too much, these are extremely good, especially when you land headshots. It's extremely satisfying because it just kills everything and anything, and you still get that awesome pinning effect of dragging enemies and just pinning them against walls. So overall, very good weapon, and I'm definitely not disappointed over selecting it. And yeah, that's everything I wanted to show you. If you like the video, leave a like. If you don't. It's been your boy Tyrone. I'm logging out.